Okay, so here's what we're going to do today. We're going to look at the new vertex form of a parabola, and it tells us some information about the parabola itself. A still represents the same things that it's always represented. It tells us if it opens up or down, if it's a happy face or a frowny face. So if it's positive, it's going to look like such. It's going to be a happy face. Okay, if it's negative, it's going to still show that reflection over the x-axis. So it's going to be like a frowny face. It also will tell you if it's skinny or fat. If the absolute value of A is less than 1, so those are things like 1/2, 1/3, what have you, that's going to be a wider parabola. If the absolute value of A is larger than 1, like a 2, a 3, a 5, then it's going to be a skinnier parabola. So A represents exactly the same thing that it is always. H represents your horizontal shift. And for H, whatever number's in here, horizontal means left and right, whatever's in here, we consider that a liar. And we'll talk about exactly what that means in a minute. And K is our vertical shift. That's up and down movement. And it's going to tell the truth. Okay? And if we were to start, if you think about starting your parabola, your parent function, let me draw one over here. Your parent function, y equals x squared. It's going to do something like this. Okay. If we were to take that parabola with an origin, a vertex at 0, 0, and we move it left or right or up or down, this point here would move in that direction. So let's say H was a horizontal shift of 1. So if I take this point and I now move it 1 unit to the right, and then let's say I move this point 1 unit to the right and let's say 2 units up, now that vertex would now be at 1, 2. So that horizontal and vertical shift is also going to represent my vertex. So vertex form of the parabola very obviously, blatantly will show you what the vertex of that parabola is. Okay, so we're going to describe some graphs, some parabolas. Let me go to the next screen. So here we've got some parabolas, and we're just going to identify what we can tell. So, for instance, we need to decide, is it a happy or a frowny face? Well, it's positive, so it's going to open up. It's going to be a happy face. Okay, the 2 is going to make it skinnier. It's a skinnier parabola than the y equals x squared. The -4, now we talked about how, or I did on the previous screen, how this is going to be like a liar. So if it's -4 in here, it's actually going to move the parabola to the right 4 units. It's the opposite. And then 3 is going to tell the truth. So that's going to go up 3. Remember, this is horizontal. This over here is vertical. Left and right movement, up and down movement. So this will describe your graph for you. All right, let's do another one. We want to tell how it opens. Does it open up or down? Is it happy or is it a sad, frowny face? So we have a negative, so it's going to be going upside down. A reflection over the x-axis is the math words for that. Okay, so it's frowning. Technically speaking, we call that a reflection over the x-axis. It flips it over. The 1/2 is a fraction. We're only looking at the absolute value of A. So 1/2 is actually going to smush the parabola down. It's going to compress it, and so it's going to widen out. So it's going to be a wider or a fatter parabola. The +3 is going to give us our horizontal shift, and it's a liar. So it says +3. It's actually going to go left 3 units. And then our minus 5 tells the truth, so we're going to go down 5 units. So our vertex on this one would have been -3, -5. The vertex on the left, I forgot to write that one down. The vertex over here would have been 4 and 3. Okay. We can also write an equation of a parabola in vertex form. So if we want to write a parabola and we have a point and a vertex, step 1 is to substitute your known values. So if we start out with our general form, vertex form of a parabola, there we have it. We're going to put in our known values. So here we have, this is our points, this is x and y. And then our vertex point is always h and k. And we're just going to put those values in there. So we're going to have 3 equals, we don't know what a is. We don't know if it's going to be fat, skinny, upside down, or what. So x is 4 minus h squared plus k. So we come from there. Step 2 is to perform order of operations because we want to figure out what a is. So we would have 3 equals a. Do my parentheses first. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. So 2 squared is 4. So 4a plus 4. Subtract 4 from both sides. We're trying to get a all by itself. And divide by 4. So this tells us that a is -1/4, so it's going to be a frowny face because it's negative, so it's a reflection over the x-axis. 1/4 means it's going to be a wider parabola. And then the last step is to come back and write your actual equation of this parabola. So y equals -1/4 x minus, because now we don't want to represent just this point that we were given, but we want to represent every single point on that graph, on that parabola. And so there's infinite number of points on that parabola, so we're going to go back and write x and y minus 2, and we're going to put that vertex back in. So we're going to put this numbers back in there. And there's our parabola. There's our equation. All right, so don't forget to complete your Google form. Make sure you have your notes ready, and I will see you next class.